maybe you'll hustle and get a few wins, but that's my take. There's the challenge, which also brings some stress, and then there's the friendships that help de-stress.
When is a good time to invite external capital? And when is a good time to say no to external capital, even if it's self-inviting itself?
Do I know what I will do with the money?
Didn't have accountability 3 weeks ago.
And it needs to be a conscious choice of which freedoms you want to trade for what.
Hello and welcome to Inception to Infinity. I'm your host, Anupam Satyasheel, the founder and CEO of Occams Advisory. Before we start the podcast, my team asked me to request you to subscribe to the channel, and it's always welcome to hear questions from you. I'm very excited about our guest today. We're joined by Srikrishnan Ganeshan. He's an entrepreneur, product builder, and co-founder and CEO of Rocketlane. Rocketlane is a platform transforming how companies manage customers, onboarding, and project delivery. Before Rocketlane, Sri built multiple successful products, including Conator, which was acquired by Freshdesk, and he went on to help build products like FreshChat at Freshworks. A lot of fresh words here. Across these experiences, he has been deeply involved in shaping the customer experience of SaaS companies. Sri is also a founding member of the Pre-Flight Community, a global network for leaders in customer onboarding and implementation. Today, we'll explore his journey, the evolution of customer success in SaaS, and how emerging technologies like AI are reshaping the way companies deliver value to their customers. Sri, welcome to Inception to Infinity.
Hey Anupam, thanks for having me on.
So Sri, before we get started, my way of asking people to tell their audience in their own words, what are some of the most important things to you in life?
The things I value most in life, I would say, I'm someone who cares a lot about having good challenges in front of me that I look forward to on a daily basis. Over the years, I've started to look at the most challenging situations as almost situations where if I navigate them, I come out stronger as like someone who's learned something. I feel I feel I've grown from each challenging experience, so I definitely look forward to that. And then my way of I'm a pretty social person, so I very regularly meet with friends. I value my time with my friends, my network of friends. I have lots and lots of friends from all the way from high school to undergrad to postgrad to people who have worked with me in the past, and I make sure I actually meet all of them on a fairly regular basis. And that's also my way of, I guess, there's the challenge, which also brings some stress, and then there's the friendships that help de-stress. Yeah, those are things. The two most important things I think for me is doing something ambitious on one side, and then staying connected and being helpful as well to my network.
So when you see a challenge, which people like you and I always welcome because that's a learning opportunity, what is the inner dialogue? What is happening in your ecosystem, in your conscience, in your mind? What are you telling yourself that this is, again, I want to hear in your words as to, let's say it's something which is completely crazy big challenge, which typically is a crazy big problem. And you're welcome to bring stories of what happened in the past. Would love to hear from our audience as to what is the inner dialogue at that time.
Yeah, I think there's I would say there's two levels of challenge, right? One is things that will hurt, which we still know we can overcome, and then there are things which probably are so big that you maybe feel, hey, I don't know what happens if this goes wrong, right? Like, one of the things uh, I always think about is what's the worst that can happen. Uh, and to me, if it's not, someone will die if, we don't solve this challenge well, or, in my head, as long as it's not causing physical harm to someone, uh, we can handle any challenge, right? So that's my way of thinking about it. I think when it's something which hurts, for example, a large customer, essentially has said that, hey, they're going to leave your partnership, your business, they're going to look elsewhere. That's something I actually enjoy tackling. I will go fully prepared, try to win them back. I have this mindset of, hey, yes, they're parting ways with us now, but I will win them back eventually. I'll try to win them back right now, but if it doesn't work, I'm going to win them back next year or the year after. It's never like someone that we've lost forever. From a, and this is an important thing for SaaS companies, right? We all, take a lot of effort to bring in a new customer. And especially when a large one says, hey, this is not working out, it causes anxiety for the people handling that account, for the customer success managers, everyone, and even for, the product team and everyone else who's celebrated the win that we had in the past. They're going to feel, oh my God, is something going wrong? Why are we losing this customer? But my attitude is always, okay, we missed certain plays to keep them engaged with us. We made some mistakes that we can learn from. But how can we win back their confidence today? How can we ensure they see that we are still the best option for them? Yes, we made mistakes. We're going to overcome those, but we are the right partner. How do we establish that? How do we sell them again in a way, right? So that's sort of the mindset over there. At the same time, let's say this is something that impacts the company. Let's say, hey, there's a fundraise and there's like, we haven't been in this situation in the current company, but think of, I go back to 2014 when I think we had put together a seed round or an angel plus, one sort of entity that was coming in. And I wanted a certain valuation. They did not see things the same way. They proposed a very different set of numbers. I had a lot of pressure from various people who had helped us in the journey, who had, I'm not going to take names, but there were people who were part of the journey who had some influence on what we should do, who were pushing us to take that offer, saying, hey, you won't get something better. Somewhere I felt uncomfortable with the way the things had come together and what was being offered, etc. And it, in a way, we had started hiring people on the team as well. So it felt like a lot was at stake. Like we're, have employees, we need to pay out salaries. We are still very early stage. It's not like we're making a ton of money. So the fundraise was important. And ultimately, I think I slept on it. I felt very, I felt under pressure to make a decision. But I decided, hey, we'll live another day to tackle this. I don't want to sign up for something that I don't feel comfortable with. Whatever happens here, we'll handle it. What's the worst that can happen? No one's going to die because of this. If I run out of money, I have enough of a reputation that, someone's joined our company betting on us surviving. I can get them placed in a good company, in a friend's company, etc. So I don't worry about that, downside over there. I'm still going to go ahead and say no to this, funding round and continue building on our own with, what we have as revenue coming in, etc. So that's the other extreme where it almost feels do or die for a moment, but as long as it's not a true die, I think you can take a different perspective and do what you feel comfortable with. So that's an example.
Many of our listeners are entrepreneurs, including people starting a business. Based on your experiences, when is a good time to invite external capital? And when is a good time to say no to external capital, even if it's self-inviting itself?
Right. I think there's an inside out and an outside in perspective. The inside out perspective to me is, do I know what I will do with the money? Right? Do I have confidence that with the money we will grow a certain way, or we understand the purpose for the capital we are raising, and we align on the purpose with the investor from the other side? I'll give you two examples. One is, let's say you haven't decided what to build, and or you've decided but you're not sure, and you're taking like a pre-seed capital from someone to experiment, to get to product market fit. As long as everyone sees it the same way, that hey, I still don't know, I may pivot from where I am, I'm going to run this experiment, I need the capital to accelerate my experimentation, to hire high quality people who will join us on this journey, and that's what it's about. If you have that alignment inside out and outside in, then I think you go ahead and take that capital, and you should have a good understanding of how you will spend that money. It's not about paying very high salaries to attract talent who's going to help you build everything. You need to have a little bit of that capability set in your founding team, in your co-founders, etc., to pull it off. Especially if you're like first time founders. I think if you're second time founders, you get more lucky. You just earn the right to take in capital, hire people, get going on an idea, etc. But that's at a pre-seed idea stage. Once you've already built something, you have a business going, and you're looking for capital to scale it, I think it's a lot harder. A lot of people think they deserve the money at that stage, because it always feels like, hey, if only I had more bandwidth, I will be able to invest my energy into growth, and I will scale differently. I will be able to do more on marketing. I'll be able to do, X or Y that helps me get to a different, scale. Most often, though, I feel, and this is my own case from the previous venture, right? Where I think 2015, we actually had a term sheet again for the second time. 2014 was the first time. 2015, the second time we had a term sheet. This time on terms that I liked. It felt like we had a good set of people coming on board. We, as investors, we were well aligned on what the money will be used for. We wanted to go global. I was probably going to spend more time in the US. We had good traction in India. We were going to go and scale up the business in the US. And it was a fair amount of capital as well coming in. But when I reflect on the moment, I think the discomfort at the time, we ended up selling the company instead of taking that angel money or seed money. The discomfort came from the fact that we didn't have a real plan of how we will get to the next milestone. It was wishful thinking and hope that, okay, with money, I can spend my time differently. I can hire people for a few things. I'll be able to invest in growth. I'll be able to bring in like a few big customers. Sort of, it was still all about hustling to get to the next milestone versus knowing what go-to-market engines will work for you, or having like a clear, here are the experiments I want to do, here's what I want to bet on, etc. It was just a bunch of unknowns and hoping that money will solve the problem. And I think that's a bad approach to take if you're taking in capital, not having a solid plan around it, uh, because I think you will end up wasting the money. You will hire people thinking they will help you solve problems, but if you don't know how to guide them through that, and if you don't have a roadmap for how you're going to expand the business, what bets you're going to make, why those bets, if you haven't thought carefully through all of them, then the money alone is not going to solve the problem. You'll spend more money, but you'll still stagnate. Maybe you'll hustle and get a few wins, but that's my take, right? Of course, all of us have opinions. Is my opinion.
So the opinion on capital invested by institutional investors or VCs or anybody else, I typically see two schools of thought: people who are eager to get it, and the people who just don't want it because they want to go their own way. On the side of people who are eager to get it or who actually can get it, which is a very small percentage, there is an element of excitement and there's a consequence of discipline and oversight. What you have experienced that. So tell our audience, what is that feeling of excitement initially, which at some point in time, you become clear that there are strings attached to it. I have to do things differently. I didn't have accountability 3 weeks ago, and now every investing decision I'm making, I have to get a sign off or I have to stay within my limits. What is that feeling and experience like?
Yeah, I think when you're taking it in, it feels like, hey, I got more freedom because I can do more with the money. But you also, you gain certain freedoms, you lose certain freedoms, and it needs to be a conscious choice of which freedoms you want to trade for what. And I think where you have a very good understanding of the party coming in, the investor coming in, when you have great alignment in thinking, you've spent a lot of time with each other and know how you think, and it's like a true partnership. I think you don't lose as many freedoms or like dimensions of freedom as when it's just, hey, someone gave me the best valuation, I took money from them, I don't know what they want versus what we want, is it even aligned? Because from a which business you're going after, how the traction looks, there may be excitement, but in terms of how you want to build the business, you may have different philosophies. You may have shown the most exciting path forward and projections for your business, but when something doesn't work, what is your outlook? What is the path you would want to take? Would you want to be conservative and slow down and think and realign? Would you want to aggressively bet in a different direction and pivot quickly? Would you want to do multiple pivots till you find your rhythm? Would you want to execute with care and take time to make a decision and then make your pivot? All of those are things you may not have even discussed with the investor. So I think that's my experience has been. So our first investors, candidly, right, for Rocketlane, for the last one, we didn't have investors. We gained some money through winning something called the Q Prize, and through that we got some investors who had done a convertible note, but they weren't on the board or anything, so we didn't need their permission to do things. We were seeking their alignment to do certain things just so that we could get more help or perhaps more capital from them, but it didn't work out. This time when we started, we had our first seed check come from two VCs, not even angels, right? And one of them was a long-term friend, like someone who went to B school with me, and one of them was a new entity to us. Like he had met us a few times, liked the team, decided to bet on us, and funnily enough, I think in both cases we had to still earn the trust, earn the I would say uh, our right to move how we wanted to move, do what things the way we pleased to do, etc. Over a period of time. Uh, I think uh, while my friend from B school knew me really really well at a personal level, still, are we making the right calls for the business? Are we building product the right way? All of that, he needed to watch us do it for a few months to gain that full confidence that, hey, I trust all of you as a partnership. Not just that you will have the right integrity and work ethic and so on, but that you have the right skill set as a team to go and execute and win business. And similarly, right, we took a different approach to product building. We didn't launch a MVP. We launched a full featured product. We took a year to build it. So we needed a certain patience from the investors to align with our way of working. And I would at one point get questions from them every month about, hey, I know you built so much. You showed me the demo. Why don't you launch that to a few folks? And we had a very different outlook on when to launch, why we should launch something more full baked, why not launch the part that we had already built, etc. So I was explaining each time why we did things a certain way. I had written a memo for our team internally about how we are building product differently, why we're not doing MVP, uh, how we validate along the way. And I thought, hey, you know what? Maybe this note that is meant to keep our team engaged and believing in the product, in the vision, will also help the investors. So I shared that with the investors, and then they understood. Okay, this is our approach to how we want to build. And in fact, one of them joked saying, "Hey, you sent me this so that I stop asking you the question every month." And I was like, "Yep, exactly." And then I think we had that alignment and trust. And once, I think when things work well, finding alignment is easier. Uh, and things have worked well for us so far. So I think it's been a good, happy journey overall with investors. Um, yes, we do seek their uh, alignment on what our goals for the year are. We seek alignment on big hires that we make, changes that we make, etc. Uh, but it's largely been smooth sailing for us, also because I think we've uh, we've executed well year on year to gain that trust over a period of time, and and yeah, I think success makes it easier. The minute we have a bad quarter or something doesn't go as intended, I think it becomes more so. With freedom you get responsibility. I think that responsibility part for me personally plays a big role in even driving me a certain way. I think we don't look at the investment as, hey, we got cash, now we can do things easier. Instead, I think of it as, hey, someone has bet on us serious money. There is so much more accountability that that brings to the table, and I need to make this big for them, for people who have joined us, for ourselves as well. But that accountability definitely is like a big thing that plays in my mind. Once for every capital raise we do, etc.
You touched upon a very delicate topic, doing business with friends. We all have had our good and bad experiences. You talked about taking investment from somebody who went to school with you. I was on the other side of the table once. We were trying to invest in the business run by a very close friend of mine. And we just couldn't agree upon the terms because he wanted a term sheet entirely on his terms just because of personal relation. And we are not a VC firm. We have investments made by us on SPE basis, case to case. Right? We made dozens of them. And how different it is in your experience when you're negotiating with somebody you know personally. Is it like easier, tougher? Um, I have had both experiences, but I want to hear from you. And would you, if everything else is same, would you prefer to take money from somebody you know personally, or would you prefer to take from somebody who you don't know personally? Pretty unlikely, but it's possible situation.
I think commercial engagements with personal relationships is something I would actually advise to avoid. Though it's worked out beautifully for us so far. I mean, there's different types of commercial engagements, right? Like one is just, you know, co-founder relationships. They are so hard to, um, you know, yes, you want to work with close friends who you know really, really well, but so often things go south in a partnership, especially when something doesn't work out. And I'm doing this for the second time with the same two co-founders. I'm very grateful for that kind of a partnership, um, where I think the importance is, do you respect each other? If you truly respect each other, then it becomes a strong partnership that you can rely on, that you can sort of uh, operate with a certain peace of mind and freedom, knowing you respect each other. And uh, so the challenges become less about egos, more about problem solving. Um, and the same thing for an investor as well, right? I think where there is mutual respect for what we bring to the table, things become easier, because it's easy to say something that permanently damages a partnership, a relationship, uh, when things get heated. And uh, I would say uh, the fact that we came in each knowing what we bring to the table, the investor friend and myself, we had that. We've spoken and spent a lot of time with each other on discussing business things as well, not just the friendship. And because he's been in VC for a long time, I've been working in startups or starting up and so on for a long time. So we had enough opportunity to develop that respect for what we bring to the table, to know our boundaries, to have the right expectations of each other, and that's important. But even then, I would say, if in a moment, if I make a comment, he makes a comment about something, you can't take back your words. So I think it's important to be aware of that, and um, partner only where you don't partner for the money, you don't partner for the return, you partner in this case because you believe it's a good opportunity, you believe in the capability of the person, you have the mutual respect. Then the investing in a friend uh, makes sense. It should never be coming out of, hey, I know this person has a lot of capital. Like, let's say someone is personally investing, not from a VC firm, but their own money. Sometimes the other party thinks, hey, this person has play money, let me take it and do what I please with it. They should not be, people take each other for granted, or each other, just because they know you have a lot of capital, hey, they probably don't care about it, shouldn't be the approach, right? Like, if it's an investment, it's an investment, treated accordingly, and partner accordingly, have the respect for each other accordingly. That's sort of my way of thinking about it. And I've invested in friends companies. The I've done only small checks in all of those, and it's more to support them on the journey, show my partnership, than to expect returns. And hence, even when something goes south, I'm not hurt by it, or I'm not asking them the hard. I'm on their side. I'm supporting them, and as long as that mutual understanding is there, that's fine.
So when you're making an investment, since you have been both sides of the aisle, what are some of the things that you are looking for? More so when we're dealing with people you know personally, it seems like. It's interesting that your overall advice is not to do business with friends, but you do a lot of it. So for those who want to play with fire, what is your advice to somebody investing in their wife's business or best friend's business or, ex-girlfriend's business? I'm trying to be funny here. What is the right questions or framework or approach to make sure that you retain the relationship, if not the money?
Right. I think I look at, hey, is this person gonna be able to build a team, and what are the proof points that they have passion for what they're doing, and they're gonna go all in to try to build this, right? Do they have some right to win in the space they're picking? Is it a my biggest lesson from my previous journey was market trumps all else. Which market you play in, if it's a good market, the whole rising tide lifts all boats type thing is what I believe in, right? Like, you need to play in a rising tide type market. You can't be swimming upstream and expecting that just you will make it, everyone else won't. You need things to be in your favor. So that's something I try to look at. Hey, is this a big enough market? Is it the right kind of market? And does this person have a right to win in this space? Or can they, it's finally, because it's small checks and it's friends who I'm trying to support, it's not like deep analysis on how they will win and all of that, but it's more gut, right? Like, hey, I know this person did great things at their previous stint. I know they've attracted and worked with really high quality people before, or I know they're very ambitious and they're going to chase their ambition down come what may. I've seen what they were able to do. They won't give up in between. Those are some of the things I look for. And then, hey, is this in a space that I believe in? Broadly, right?
So switching the track, getting on to what you have built so far, I see a theme. There's data that the first impressions are the most critical impressions. People form impression in like 20, 30, 40 seconds when they meet somebody. A little more patient when they're dealing with an organization, but again, they're not super patient. Your product is about client onboarding, a lot about first impressions. That seems like a theme in your entrepreneurial journey. I would love to know as to where does the excitement or passion for that particular thing comes from. And second, tell our audience more about the product you have built and the company that you currently are operating.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think my lesson on first impressions is, when you make a great first impression, even if you slip up later, people have already made up their mind. They see you as high quality, and they give you an excuse. Hey, usually this person is good. Today they slipped up, so I'll just give them that feedback and they're going to improve. Versus, if your first impression is bad, the first mistake you make after that, it becomes more like a confirmation of what they thought, right? Like, even if you've been doing a lot of things well, when you make a mistake, they're like, hey, I knew, this company or this person was always going to screw up at some point. Now that's been proven. We should part ways in whatever form of partnership it is. So, that being the case, when companies are partnering with each other, when it's a B2B partnership of any sort, and today our focus has been largely with software companies or teams implementing software for their customers. So it's implementation teams or professional services teams that run these implementation services projects. So the customer has bought something and their first experience of the true partnership is when they start that kickoff meeting and the journey after, where they're getting set up. Could be a 2 month journey, could be a 6 month journey, but that needs to go smoothly, right? So most software in the space was focused on what we call the back office operations part of running the services motion. So the resource management and project accounting, margin calculation, utilization tracking of a services team, etc. We said, hey, we'll do that, but we'll also bring a focus on the front office part, which is how you work with your customers, how you govern the project, how you establish a code of, like, how you codify your way of working so that it becomes more standardized. Everyone experiences a certain set of things which give them a high in the partnership, which make them believe in the partnership. How do you make that a playbook? How do you help people comply with the playbook and teach them what needs to be done next? So both internally and customer facing, there's different experiences. If there's a partner involved, there's one more experience for that. But keeping them all on the same page, ensuring that at the slightest detection of something going off, whether it's a customer feedback or something written in an email or wherever it is, let's give an early warning to the right level, to a manager or a VP or whoever needs to know, so that they can come and turn around the situation, so that a team that is not seeking help can get proactive help from their leaders to turn around these situations. So that's been the insight with which we started, saying, hey, here are the things we can do to ensure that every partnership starts off on the right footing, that helps these partnerships succeed, helps these transformation projects succeed, helps people get to value faster, and thereby all of us are more productive. Like, every software implementation was more successful. I think there'll be a lot more people hitting their goals. There's a huge number of transformations that fail today. We wanted to fix that.
So you have been an entrepreneur for more than a decade, coming like a decade and a half. It's a tough life. We both have been on this journey for a reasonable amount of time. At the same time, you're at a life stage where you may have a family, you may have friends, you have many friends, you said. We expect a certain amount of time from you. That brings into question that magical word, work-life balance. What is your view on that? I mean, the people who say it's a myth, it doesn't exist, and the people who actually attain that and they make others look bad. What's your experience and what's your view on that? Is it something we should strive for, or is it something which might happen and you should just accept as a part of the deal if it doesn't happen? Would love to hear insights on the elusive thing called work-life balance.
Yeah. I think for me, this is pretty much work and life. It's like a integrated experience. So I am bad at this, to be honest, right? I can focus on only one thing at a time. I think I've made a trade-off, and I'm at peace with my trade-off. I do spend time with my friends. I manage to figure it out, and I do, for example, every month I host an event called Worlds Collide, where I bring people from my different worlds. Hey, these are my school friends, these are my college friends, these are my work friends, etc. Let all of them meet each other. So I get to meet all of them, and they also meet each other, and it becomes a more
Virtual or
in person.
in person? And what does
Yeah,
one have to do to earn that invitation?
you just need to be a friend.
Okay, I'll wait for my invitation.
Yeah. So this is something I started only last year. Once I moved to the Bay Area, I was like, okay, let me rekindle my people in the region. Let's bring them together. I've done it in Chennai very informally. Whenever someone wants to meet, I'd say, hey, come to Besanagar Beach, which is like a popular spot in Chennai. And I'll just invite everyone to come there. I'm not going to meet each person separately in different places. It's my lazy way of meeting everyone. But by doing that, I also noticed that there were new connections that form. which didn't exist before, and people help each other out in different ways in life, right? Like, I believe in serendipity and the value of networks. Hence, this Worlds Collide became like a thing to do, where we bring more people together, do it more intentionally, uh, thereby also end up catching up with friends on a more regular basis. Not everyone's going to come every time, but people will turn up at least once in 2-3 months. They're going to turn up, and we do that. And then for me, I think most of my time is spent on the startup. My switch off, which I think everyone needs some form of switching off, is either sport or movie. So I try to go to a movie every Friday night, and I try to play pickleball or something else, or do a hike or something like that over the weekend. And I'm fully immersed in those activities. I am not thinking about work when I'm playing pickleball or watching a movie, and that's the only time perhaps when I have my mind free of the background noise that keeps running otherwise. So I'm not good at work-life balance. I don't know if there is such a thing. My my secret wish is, which can never come true, is the whole world works in one time zone, so that at least everyone can have decent sleep, wake up and not worry about what they missed when they were sleeping. That's the extent of where things are. But from a balance perspective, I think they're I don't think I'm optimizing for a balance today, at least.
I have many more questions, but we're out of time. So I would like to ask two routine things at the end. One of the things we do here is that we ask you for a question that what we can ask the next guest on our podcast. So we don't know who it is for, but if you have a tough question which you want to torture somebody with, or an easy question that you want to gift somebody, you can go ahead and ask that. And when you think about the question, the other thing for our audience is that where can they find you? Where can they connect with you, apart from waiting for an invitation to Worlds Collide?
Cool. I think the question I have, which you can ask the next guest, is what is a superpower that someone else has that you have your eyes on, that you feel jealous about? Someone else does something really, really well, and you wish you had that ability. What is that?
I can tell you the superpower that you have, which I'm jealous of, is that doing business with friends and family, and keeping the friends and the family and the business relationship. But on to where do people find you?
Srikrishnan Ganeshan on LinkedIn, and Srikrishnan G on Twitter, X rather. That's very good. Or sri@rocketlane.com. Write to me.
Excellent. Thank you very much for being here. Audience, that is Sri for us, and we learned so much today. Sri, thank you very much. I think I have many more questions. I may have to get you back sometime soon. We'll coordinate that. But once again, great listening all those insights from you, and wish you the very best for building this business.
Thank you so much, Anupam.